Genghis Khan, the formidable Mongolian warrior ruler, rose from humble beginnings to become one of history's most renowned conquerors. Through his military prowess, he united all the nomadic tribes of Mongolia and transformed his family into a disciplined military state, laying the foundation for the mighty Mongol Empire. While his military achievements were notable, there were also dark aspects of his character, as he committed cruel and unthinkable acts against his enemies. In this video, we will delve into some of these unsettling actions he took against his foes. Let's explore these distressing events without delay. Genghis Khan displayed a harsh and unkind treatment towards people of other religions, especially those who practiced Islam, Buddhism, Christianity, and Taoism. Despite seeking advice from holy men of various faiths, he showed special contempt for Muslims and Jews, derogatorily referring to them as his slaves and forbidding them from following their customs. For instance, he disallowed Muslims from killing sheep and Jews from practicing circumcision, demanding that they abide by his rules if they lived in his kingdom. A particularly chilling incident occurred when Genghis Khan's favorite son-in-law was killed. In response, he sought vengeance by ordering his troops to attack the city responsible for the act. The ensuing massacre was horrifying, with around 1.7 million people slaughtered, including infants, children, women, and animals. Their skulls were cruelly piled into pyramids, leaving a grim testament to the brutality of the retaliation. Another shocking act took place when Genghis Khan was just 20 years old. He led an army against the tribe that had killed his father, seeking revenge. In a disturbing display of retribution, every Tatar man was measured against the linchpin of a wagon, and those found taller than the pin were beheaded. Moving on to his conquests, Genghis Khan set his sights on the Jin Empire in modern-day China. Despite being vastly outnumbered, his strategic genius and ferocity led the Mongols to victory in a mere 3 years. They laid siege to Chengdu, now known as Beijing, leading to a horrifying situation of starvation and cannibalism within the city's walls. Upon the city's surrender, the Mongols set it ablaze, resulting in a massacre so severe that bones formed white mountains, and the soil became greasy with human fat. Even within his own family, Genghis Khan's cruelty was evident. He had his half-brother killed for failing to share food, demonstrating the harsh and unforgiving nature of his rule. Genghis Khan's legacy remains a complex and controversial one. While he is celebrated for his military achievements and the establishment of a powerful empire, the ruthless and inhumane acts he carried out against his enemies, and even those close to him, paint a dark portrait of his rule. Genghis Khan, born to a powerful chieftain, faced a harsh and challenging life after an enemy tribe poisoned his father. Left with no home and struggling to survive, his family scrounged for food, often eating plants or discarded scraps they found on the road. Genghis learned early on that he had to fight and kill for what he needed to survive. In his quest for power, Genghis resorted to ruthless tactics. He murdered his half-brother in a fit of anger when he was denied his share of a fish he had brought for his family. As he grew into a formidable leader, he captured enemies as body shields to use in combat. Genghis selectively chose who to use as human shields, sparing those who showed potential as skilled soldiers and were willing to join his army. The Mongols had certain rules during warfare, one of which was to avoid spilling noble blood. However, this did not mean nobles were spared. Instead, Genghis ensured they met gruesome and horrifying deaths, such as snapping their necks or suffocating them. In 1223, as the Mongols celebrated victory over the Russian army, they subjected the captured Russian generals to a horrifying fate. They were forced to lie down on the ground, and a heavy wooden gate was thrown upon them. The Mongols then held a feast, eating and drinking, while the Russian nobles were crushed to death beneath the gate. Genghis Khan used strategic alliances to expand his power. He allowed his allies to marry his daughters, but once married, he sent them to the front lines of Mongolian armies, where they met their deaths. This ensured that his daughters became the sole heirs to the conquered kingdoms. In another instance, when Genghis Khan encountered the Khwarezmi's Muslim kingdom, he initially tried a peaceful approach by sending a diplomat to establish diplomatic ties and trade routes. However, when the governor of the kingdom killed the diplomat, it enraged Genghis, leading him to launch a massive army of 200,000 soldiers to destroy the Khwarezma kingdom completely. He ordered the burning of all castles, farms, and towns to ensure no traces of the Khwarezma remained, even diverting a river to erase the emperor's birthplace from the map. These accounts shed light on the ruthlessness and cruelty of Genghis Khan's methods as he pursued his ambitions and expanded his empire, leaving a dark legacy in history. In his relentless pursuit of power and dominance, Genghis Khan left a trail of destruction and cruelty in his wake. He was not hesitant to wipe out entire kingdoms that opposed him. For instance, the Zizia kingdom faced erasure from the map as a consequence of refusing to send troops to aid him. Their history was obliterated, and evidence of their existence was lost for centuries, including their language. One incident during a battle showcased Genghis Khan's appreciation for bravery and courage. When an enemy archer shot his horse, Khan sought revenge. Surprisingly, the archer approached him boldly and fearlessly admitted his deed. Impressed by the archer's bravery, Genghis Khan made him a commander in his army, and he eventually became a trusted friend. However, Genghis Khan's cruelty knew no bounds when dealing with rival Mongol leaders who challenged his leadership. After achieving a significant victory, he burned enemy generals alive in cauldrons, a horrific act that struck fear into the hearts of those who witnessed it. This merciless approach gained him some support as people feared opposing him. During one conquest, Genghis Khan poured molten silver into the eyes and ears of an enemy nobleman. Displaying an appalling level of sadism, he proclaimed himself a divine agent, sent by God to punish the people. Anyone who opposed him, even entire populations, faced annihilation. Even after his death during a battle with the Zizia kingdom, Genghis Khan's cruelty continued to manifest. He desired to be buried in a secret location to avoid anyone finding his corpse. To ensure secrecy, slaves carried his body miles into the wilderness, where they were massacred and buried alongside him. The soldiers who escorted the slaves met the same fate when they returned to camp to prevent any knowledge of the burial location. To this day, Genghis Khan's hidden tomb remains undiscovered. These dark and gruesome accounts of Genghis Khan's actions offer a glimpse into the brutal nature of his rule and the extent to which he went to maintain his power and reputation. The legacy of Genghis Khan continues to evoke awe, fear, and fascination, making him one of history's most controversial figures. What are your thoughts on these historical events? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe and press the bell icon for regular updates.